Right, so let's see, we're close here. There we go. On page Tzadi, we came to the conclusion of the shefa that was generated by the word baruch, going up, coming back down into its proper places, and we saw that on the page Tzadi, for example, this is the mochin, the malchios, the abba, ve'imel, ve'yasos, in the Ranchi the Nefesh, and he shows us a picture of this Ranchi the Nefesh, which just looks like the Ranchi of Ruach, which was right before. The lights are the same. It's implied that there is a hismatus of this light, I think, as it going down. Okay, so finally we got it down to Malchus and Atzilus. And then he showed us on the page Sadi Aleph, which I want to review this again, and then we're going to finish it up, God willing, today. So he says like this. He said, first of all, he shows the word mikra. So now we're getting to the punchline. And so he says mikra is the same gematria as these letters Aleph, Mem, and Shin. We call them Emesh. So there's a gematria that v'hu b'zer anpin, shechu b'yitzira, which is olam yitzira, v'yakave b'shem sag, and have this in mind. So he said the word mikra. You're now in olam yitzira, and you're looking at the name sag, and they want to point out to us that the letter aleph is very prominent in this name, in this situation. Then he shows us the letter aleph, shel emesh, hu aleph de sag. That's that aleph. You take the aleph out of sag. So he says, and then the mem, shel emesh, hu arba b'mochim, shebesoch the nai the ima hanik nasa bezah. So we're moving around a little bit, and now we're in the nai the ima. The mem means that it has the four mochin in it. Then he says the shin, call shel emesh, so the shin of that word is the nai the ima. It's actually the nai themselves. First it was, so the mem was talking about the mochin. This is calling actually the nai the ima that's going to go into Zivram Klaus Yudin de Sag, and there's the three Yudin of Sag. Called Echad Kola Yud Hare Mea. I'm not sure what we get out of this. Let's look at the light print on the Hakavanot here. It says like this: Koseba Machberes Hakadosh Shozechad Lashon. Mikra is a gematria of Emesh, no problem. Shehem Osiv Shenamber B'Sefer Yitzira. So we talked about this before. Zachar Be'emesh V'Nukva Ba'asham. Okay, it says like that. Exactly what it means by moving them around, but they're basically the same letters. Behind those there Anpin Shahu Zachar Yesh Lo Shlosha Osius Emesh V'Hainu Aleph the Aleph the Sag Mem the Tevuna. Now he brings this in, so Aleph goes with Sag. Then Tevuna, which is a generation, I guess, down from there. Shows lost a place a little bit. Tevuna kashehi revia al bonim. I think this means revia means that she hovers over her children. Hainu nehim, that is the nehim. So Ima and the Nehim, I'm trying to see how this goes together. Haima Elif the Sag, Mem the Tevuna, that Tevuna is the Mem, is Revia al Bonim, the Haido Nehim, that is the Nehim, the Niknasa Besocham Hadalad Mochim, and then the four Mochim come in. So he said, "Volihiyos ki niknasim bezer anpin ein niknasu bo ela nai levad." So the only part that goes in is the nai. Vehema shlosha yudin desag, and the nai actually is represented by the yudin. I'm trying to see what is the connection between them, and so like so you say the three yudin that's supposed to be the nai. Okay, but this is the harder part to understand. The Niknasecha betoch Yud Rishona de Zer Anpin, and they go into the first Yud of Zer Anpin. What does he mean by Toch Yud Rishona de Zer Anpin? V'Yud Pamim Yud Hare Shin. Yud Pamim Yud Are Shin. Now, how did they get that? So he says, Ein Niknas Bo Ela Nai Levad. The Nai only goes in. What's with the Nai? They are Shlosha Yud and Desag, no problem. Then they Niknasim Toch Yud Rishona Dezer Anpin. Now he's spelling the Yud like Yud Vav Dalet. Does that help me? I don't know. The Yud Pamim Yud. So take Yud and say there's 10 inside of it. Hare Shin. How did he get the Shin there? Shehem Shin de Emish, which is the Shin de Emish. Did I miss something here? Going on, Nimsa Shaha Aleph he Shrashis Bezer Anpin. So it comes out in Zer Anpin, it becomes a rooted in Zer Anpin. V'gam benuk na'aza Aleph shal Adni, and also in the Nuk it makes this Aleph that's coming out of Sag. Sag represents Ima. He said the Adni. Mem of the Shin, so pick the Mem and the Shin, Haim HaKelim, these are the Kelim, the Ima. Okay, so we're moving around a lot. There's a lot missing, I think, from this. V'heim sod hashin, and this is the secret of the shin. V'ramabochim aboim lezer anpen. Heim arbech and kanoida, there's 4. Shehem chug v'chug. Afal pi sha'achar kach mitzchavrech v'yakad chug b'soch yesod. So then he says, even though later on we see that the chug comes together when they reach yesod, we call makom this Metachidas Haviyasam Haim Arba, but understanding that even though I guess he means to say the root, the way they start, is always 4, even though the 2 of them come together in Yesod. So that's a fact about them coming together in the Yesod. I don't think I know that. I don't think I understand that. Nimsa She'osios Emesh Haim Bezer Anpin, I'll buy that. Because in the Nukva, now they're going to wind up going into the Nukva. Ha'aleph is going to become a shorish in the Nukva, Shehi Aleph of the name Adni. Now this, fine, it's this Aleph in this phrase, Emish. O Mikol Makom, Mem V'Shin Sheba He Mischafchim, they turn around, B'Na'asim Sham B'Sod Chosam HaMischafech, and they become the symbol. They become v'na'asash at that place the secret of the chosim hamischafech, of the change. So basically, this has provided me with words and concepts, but I don't know the pathway by which this happens. I don't understand it really, other than the fact. So the chosim hamischafech v'na'asa asham, and it makes that name, so it switches around. That's the chosim hamischafech, and they make it to the name asham. Well, with God's help. Adkan Lashona, this is the end of what he said about that. But let me explain it. He says, Bir Hadavarim Sheb'Midah Mikra is actually a remez to the Shem Sag. Nirmaz, that name is represented, the name Sag shall, what's the right word? Okay, then we'll say representative. Shall ima hashefach hanemshat l'olam yitzibur shuchu b'bechina zer anpen. Zer anpen is olam yitzira. So he says, and this is the shefa that is being nimshach to there from ima. He says the aleph shall emesh v'shal mikra, and also that word. Romaz al os aleph shall midhui os vav alavav b'shem havai the sag. So that was kind of understood. But in Shachim Dalad Mochim, and from that, from Ima, Dalad Mochim should call Echad Yeshbo as a Sphira. So that's the 40 of the Mem. V'yachad Hem Mem Shal Emesh. Mem Shal Mikra, then you have the Mem of the word Mikra, also goes part of that. Mitzchabrim b'Yesod, and they all join together in Yesod. V'os Shin Shal Emesh. V'osius Kar, which is part of the word Mikra, Kar, number 300. Shin is in number 300. He says, Shall Mikra Romazim al Halavushim shall nai the Ima, Shenir Moz Mir Mezilcha Begimel Yudin Shebeshem Sag. Okay, so they're referenced over that, and that is a little bit beyond me, a lot missing for me there. So now we're going to come to this is sort of like the final, this is the punchline here. We're going to say, we said the word mikra. So mikra has to do with the name Sag and different aspects of the letter of the words Emish, which are the same as mikra. So you came to this. Now just look at the page first and see the drawing that's on the page. First he has Menetzach Dazav, he has Vako. I'll call it Vako. Vav K, Vav. We don't know what it's doing or how it operates. There's three of them from the Netzach. There's three of them from Hod, three of them from Yesod. So then he says there are five names down below that. And he says Shemos, which are hey, 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 which is a gematria 15. I don't know if that means anything to me. And the other one is a gematria of 21. So now these are three hays. And you see there's a hey here. So we went from Netzach, Hod, Yesod. Now we're going from Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Umalchus. All of these five are coming in here. Now, this is the real punchline because you're saying now Mikra Megilah. So Mikra is by using the name Sag in whatever way that I understood that, bringing that Aleph into the equation and rooting it in Zer Anpin. That's about what he said that I could understand. Number Lamed Gimel, and we have a little note on it to try to understand it. Yekaved B'Tevis Megilah, he says. What are you thinking about when you're saying the word Megilah? So Megilah is Lashon also Gilui, I'm thinking. The Yesod of Abba Haniknas Toch Rachel, which goes into Rachel, which is the Nook. Maybe it's Esther, we say. Meir Ba, and shines into Rachel. V'osa Kol HaShemos Shekabla Mizer Anpen Ba'oda Bifnim. I think it means Beponim. I'm not sure. The Hainu. So let me just read the last part. It shines into what? Rachel. V'osa Kol HaShemos, and now it makes all of the names Shekabla that the Rachel got from Sarah Anpin. Ba'oda Beponim. I'm not sure what that word means. The Hainu, and then he shows you while she's still. So if it's Panim, it means that she's facing him, and if it's Bifnim, it doesn't make any sense to me. So it must be Bepanim. There is a period where she's Panim Bepanim in Zeranpin, but that's missing over here in this idea. So that's Lamed Gimel. Let's look at Lamed Gimel and see if we can make some sense out of it. He says seems like it's longer here. Number Lamed Gimel. Where is it? He said, Yekave B'Tevid Megilah, the Yesod of Abba Haniknas B'Tok Rachel. So that's what's happening when you say Megilah, because he's going to be revealed inside of Rachel. Meir Bava Ozecha B'Kol HaShemos Shekabla B'Zer Anpin Ba'oda B'Ponim, when she was still able to get it directly from that. I'm really concerned about the name B'Ponim, because I was thinking that we're talking about an Asira here, the time of the Asira. So anyway, Beponim, he said, "V'hayda b'netzach the Zer Anpin is vaku gimel pamim." You're going to say the netzach of Zer Anpin is going to be three times. You're going to say vav ke vav gimel pamim, mechod zav vav ke vav gimel pamim, and yesod zav vav ke vav gimel pamim. So now he writes, he's a kan meramas ha'orev shaha'ir Yesod of Abba. So here we see what we're seeing over here in these vakos. I call them the vakos. He says they're all bringing in shefa from Abba. Yesod of Abba Baruch Bizman and Nesira at the time of Nesira. Netzach dezah hay here behachan the nok gimel shemos vav ke vav. Hod dezach hay here bebaga the nok gimel shemos vav. Same three letters. He says, calls them names, Vav Ke Vav. The Yesod Dezah, Hey here Bedati Adenuk, Shem Yaakov, same thing. V'kol Shemos Elu Nirmaz b'Megilah, and all of these are referenced in the word Megilah. Now, I'm not sure what he meant that Megilah, but let's go on to the next one. The next one is we go V'Chachamisha Shemos Hey. So these three names, these five names, there's five sets of Hey. Mitiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchus, the Zer Anpin, like that. And then he shows us Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchus. All of these, he's saying the explanation was for Hamisha Shemos Hey, comes from Tiferes, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchus, the Zer Anpin, Mitiferes. So it doesn't really tell me anything about it particularly, other than the fact that's what it is. What is it doing? These are the mochim. Actually, what we're looking at is the mochim that are coming from the top one is mochim that are coming from the nigh to the mizah ba'oda b'panim dahainu, while she was still facing him. That's just I don't know what it means. Bifnim dahainu. That's a question I have. So then those are actually mochim coming into her. So then v'chamishu shemus and another five. So which are the hays. So let's read just a little bit here on number Lamadal, the next page. He says, Levad mechashemus hanizkarim od yesh bechem gam shemus hey elosh hey bekinis atara. So atara so Yesod, is that what he means? He says this is coming into the Yesod. All of these things are coming into the Yesod from Abba. And the last part is the Ataras it goes to the Ataras of the Yesod. Is that what he means? Anyway, this is a view of this. Then it comes like this. He says, after that, I guess it means that came into the Nukva. Na'asim Yud Beis Havayos, it produces 12 Havayos. He says there's 9 of them, B'nai De'ima, and 9 of them in the Nai De'ima. So here's a Netzachot, and here each one of them has 3 Havayos. That doesn't say how it becomes a Havayo. What's the difference between the Vav K Vavs, the Hey K Ks? I guess looking at it again, no, I didn't get that insight. I thought I had something there. So at any rate, here we go. The Asim Yud Beis Havayos. Lamed Hey. Let's read Lamed Hey in the Hakavanot. He says, Venase is a Yud Beis Havayos, B'tishach of Havayah B'nai the Ima, B'nai B'liva, B'shlosh Havayos B'itras Yesod the Abba. Now the Yitras Yesod, I guess it's the part that's, I don't know, I guess it sticks out. The Abba, Ha'oiver which is, that's the part, the one which he says is represented by the I was thinking by the Hays, by the Vav K Vavs and the Hays. He said they came in. So this though represents these Havayas of Vishlosha Havayas, but Itras Yesod the Abba, into the Itar of the Yesod of Abba, Omed over Meir be Yesod the Rachel, which shines out of the Yesod of Bokea Umeira Ara Atsuma, and it shines a tremendous light at Sofa Olam to Asiyah. Adata Hoya Yud Be Shemos, Vav Shemos, Vav K Vav, there were 6 of those. Vav Shemos of KKK, V'Shem Yaakov, and also the name Yud K Vav. Now, Yud K Vav is something we saw behind us. I don't really know, in other words, what was he doing? He has a Yud K Vav and an Aleph K Yud, but they don't finish with the Hey. So now he says, then it actually, those bring the whole thing into completion. Now he says, which shame? The shame Yaakov, he said, then they become the names of Havayas, because you're bringing all that in. fills it out. U'mischalkim shlosh havayos benetzach de'ima v'shlosh behod de'ima v'shlosh b'yesod de'ima v'shlosh havayos be'itras ha'yesod the Abba, which is the part that's bolate v'yotze b'yesod de'ima u'meir v'yotzech of the chutz meir ad sof olam ha'asiyah. Hakavanot shel shlosh havayos elu. What are we trying to get out of these three havayos? Hayotz and the chutz. Who's karocha b'shar Hakavanot kan? It's also over there if you wanted to see it. So somewhere back here there were yakis. There were Yaakos, rather. There were Yud K Vovs. I'm not sure where it was. All I'm doing here in this year, and these shiurim now, the best that I can do is just recognize them. So what is the Gilui? The Gilui is these three Havayos, these three sets of Havayos. He finishes off here on this top. We'll just finish it off. He says, you saw the three sets of Havayos, and that's a Hod. You saw that's the part that breaks out. The Shlosh Havayos be'itras Yesod the Abba, so he counts them up. They're over here too. Ha'oiv b'meir b'sod the Rachel b'bokeich meir ha'ara atzuma ad sof olam asiyah. So if we look back, and the gematria, all of that comes out to be the gematria of Megilah is 43, 73, 78. 3 times 26 is the word Megilah. So Megilah, the Gilui, is the three Havayos. And we had, by saying the word Baruch, you are bringing down the Shefa to release these Havayos into the world on the day of Purim. Well, this is your Saba speaking. Tikkun Elevator Kol El.